Whereas by 2019, things will be bad, very bad. So improvement is there.
So if you listen for Dion Ngute very well, you go understand very much the bigger picture where they go on. The Cameroon government, they don't care about how many soldiers we kill in Ambazonia. It is very important that we take away these soldiers. But we don't just kill soldiers of Cameroon for killing sake or for fun, or to excite ourselves or to make ourselves feel happy. We do them for a political purpose. It is a strategic tactics for us to remove the certain pillars that we have identified that can dismantle Cameroon presence in our territory. Cameroon can hire as more soldiers as they want. They can bring soldiers from Chad, they can bring soldiers from prison, from Congo, and many other places. They can bring in mercenaries like they are doing from Kano in Nigeria using ex-Boko Haram fighters or their current Boko Haram fighters. We don't know, but we know that the Fulani men that have been brought into Ambazonia are from Boko Haram. So the Cameroon government does not consider even the IED that have been a big blow to them, their forces on the ground, as something that is significant enough for them to consider defeat or not. The use of this IED and all the attacks against Cameroon must be seen in the perspective of us dismantling their capability for bringing in these administrators into our territory and to hold territory and to do other things. But in fact, the Cameroon military is a very big component that we must deal with. I don't want to minimize it in any shape or form. But in terms of priority, they are not the priority for Cameroon. The priority is Cameroon's ability, like we have said before, to make money out of our territory and exploit our territory. Those are the things that predicate colonialism. And for us to fight colonialism, we must be smart and strategic as our plan that we have put forth is. And first, the Cameroon government to change the fortunes and the defeat of Cameroon that have been effectuated so brilliantly by General Mba Ivor and his network of fighters and other Ambazonian fighters as well from sister forces that have been attacking Cameroon, dismantling the CDC. The Cameroon government, to change this fortune, have used embedded agents amongst us to infiltrate our struggle and pay them, bribe them, identify soldiers, bribe them. They have used social groups to take over self-defense. They have made sure that our forces, they cannot listen to the leadership that have a roadmap that can free them. They have targeted our personalities and our leadership for discrediting. It was a campaign to discredit us. Huge sum of money was put into this thing to discredit us, and people were bought right from the ground. Among some of those people, Chris Anu, who was introduced by Issa Chiruma, who was made famous by giving a platform by Issa Chiruma, stepped into this struggle. What did he do? From the early days when we did not even know that there could be informants or there could be embedded agents, he saw ADF soldiers who were in Taraba. He sold them out to La République du Cameroon and went out to assist the deportation or the kidnapping of SAKO and Co. and send them back to Cameroon. We have heard audios from Success Congo revealing a communication with Colonel Bankoe testifying in front of Chris Anu that Chris Anu had a part to play in SAKO's kidnapping, and yet Chris Anu had no explanation to rebut that claim because it is true. In the front page of the Guardian Post, it is all a campaign to make sure that by December this year, they have round up things to give a false narrative, even though they cannot win Ambazonia on the ground, for Paul Biya to be able to tell Emmanuel Macron, Joe Biden, and the rest of the international community that this thing have all been solved. When, as a matter of fact, Ambazonia is winning and winning fatly. So I'll take you not just to Chris Anu, but I'm going to take you now to the latest one who have come up to follow the lead and the queer of Dion Ngute. I'm talking no other person but Eric Tataw to come out to support this program that Dion Ngute is pushing forth. They now all of them have to come out of their hiding places to do what they have been paid to do. So I'm going to take you through some videos of Eric Tataw to see the role he has played in this our struggle. He was a main character, somebody who was in ground zero selling newspapers, begging Cameroon elites to give him money so that he could survive. He traveled to the United States as an embedded agent at a time when we were successful to destroy CDC. He came in and changed the narrative into a one that would detest our people, detach our leadership from our forces, take over, bribe them, and destroy and leave. That is exactly what he did. I'm going to prove to you and show you, substantiate all the modus operandis on how these things were done. Today, the same Eric Tataw have come and is asking our people to go back and work for La Republique. This video was edited and shared by Mama Ambazonia. You can see from her the logo there, proudly Ambazonia, is a logo that is used by Mama Ambazonia. So we are assuming that she's the one who cut this part of this video and shared it. Mama Ambazonia have demonstrated by sharing this video how gullible some of our elites are. They are willing to sell and support anything that is not egg of C or Hayabacho. She's a deep supporter of SAKO, a wonderful donor and a humanitarian woman in this struggle. But the fact that she does not pick up this one and will actually believe that Eric Tataw was clarifying what he said. So the Guardian Post, which have become the outpiece of Cameroon propaganda, had carried out the propaganda put forth by Chris Anu. Now they have come and bring in the next person, Eric Tataw, and they gave him an interview. If you read that interview, you would think that it was made up. They explain how Eric Tataw is asking for our people to go back and work for Cameroon, telling them that school should resume. We are not talking about colonials, we are not talking about Ambazonian community school here. All schools, including Cameroon government school, to resume. He is now preaching a return to what Dion Ngute is preaching, normalcy. He is now guaranteeing Dion Ngute and Cameroon's international partners who wants to use CDC to loan money to Cameroon that some Ambazonians, because they want to present him like a leader. Of course, he is not a leader. He has never sent any gun on ground zero. He has never recruited any soldier that have been fighting like some of us are doing. He has never been fighting Cameroon. All what he has been doing is try to infiltrate, take over the narrative, twist it in a way that will destroy our diplomacy, deceive our boys, and transform them into what will repel any sympathy that the international community have for us. Watch Eric Tataw as he exposes himself as a traitor, as an agent of Cameroon. Listen.
They go back for work. And I get the reason, na strategy. And I winning strategy. Listen, than for we for the stop one part and one million. When you fight war, what be the key? Now the population. If you listen to the population they talk, you go back for drawing board, you go draw your strategy for adapt for population.
So Eric Tataw, what he's coming to accomplish is what Dion Ngute is pushing forth and what the Cameroon government is pushing right now. The normalcy, the accepting of Cameroon, and the abandoning of Ambazonian quest for liberation. So he is telling our people to go and work for CDC. You have heard Dion Ngute clearly stating that CDC is the thing that is being seen by Cameroon amongst the 4 things that he named that incentivize Cameroon to remain in our territory, that make sure Cameroon can see it as normalcy, because they don't mind how many Ambazonians or Cameroon troops are killed, but they do mind about CDC. So Eric Tataw is supporting Cameroon here. There is no doubt about it, under the cover that it is some type of a strategy. What type of a strategy? For a man who asks for people to chop off the hands of our civilians against the wish and the taste of all Ambazonians. Do you think he cares about what our people think? If he did care about what our people think about, he wouldn't have asked people to chop off the hands of our people. And at that time he said he didn't care what anybody think about it, because indeed he did not care. He all cared about receiving money from Cameroon government. This is an individual who received a delegation from CPDM parliamentarians. They came and met him in America. How do we know all these things? Look at the wealth he displays on social media, if they are actually real, which we believe they are. It testifies of where his money come from. He traveled to America as a poor refugee He is still an asylum seeker in America. He stayed in the house of Dr. Nicolas Santos because he could not pay rent with his wife. He drive Uber to be able to rent and have a house out of his house. Now, you know millions of Ambazonians who are in the United States of America. How many of them have accumulated wealth like him or developed wealth like him? Remember how we knew that Nambere was working for the Cameroon intelligence. It was when he was in Ground 1 in Nigeria. He came up with a software of a platform just like Dimples to introduce it to us that we should be using this one to communicate because WhatsApp have been compromised. Only for us to discover that it was malware to gather information on our people. Eric Tataw, somehow who is not a scientist or an IT specialist, have come up with Dimple. We would be surprised to know that that is a theme or a software to harvest information from Ambazonians. But we have been wise enough to avoid it. It is not even used by even a quarter of our people who are in the liberation struggle, except those who are gullible or those agents that he used to push forth this Cameroon scheme. Eric Tataw was also visited by Andrew Carl, Bishop Andrew Carl, that we know was put in Bamenda to work for Cameroon government, and we have seen him shadowing the Cameroon system on the ground, undermining Ambazonian liberation struggle. This is a true face of a corrupt, evil man that works for the regime that butchers his own people and make blood money. He does not even deserve a wife from Ambazonia. Let's listen to the rest of the video and I will show you some other stuff after this.
Okay, when the war will start, now me, I champion CDC boycott. Okay, now we don't see and say, after these 2-3.
Just to let our people know for the record, because you know the devil is a liar and he is a devil. Eric Tataw did not champion the destruction of CDC. The CDC destruction was championed by me, Capo Daniel, Lucas Asso, pushing for the agenda of the governing council. We campaigned for the Haiti solution, the broken and destruction of the critical infrastructure of CDC. We used people like Sumoli, General Ivor, the godfather, to attack critical infrastructure of CDC. You saw video footages of CDC being burned to the ground. We saw our campaign asking for this for business people and farmers to stop working for CDC and open their own private farm, teaching them that they are better off working for themselves. We have seen the diplomatic effort by Dr. Cho Ayaba to organize through our Biafran links sympathetic Biafrans to set up shop that are going to buy cash crops from our farmers who have been relying on cocoa. You have seen our children traveling into Biafra land using the roads that we have created, the network of roads we have created. You have seen Cameroon government attacking them. This is the real machine that crippled the CDC. Eric Tataw came in to save CDC. He did not come in to destroy CDC, as you can see. But later on, I'll bring you those video footages. Let us listen to him.
Yes, Wapa don't suffer a lot. They don't cry, say, okay, 100% of the population talk, say, won't go back and go work as CDC workers. Okay, me as a rebel, as a strategist for the war, like talk, say, listen, me people they go work. You know why? When the papa they go work, they harvest banana.
So you can hear the enemy, the agent speaking, telling our people, giving them the logic of defeat, the logic of the enemy. That our people did not suffer, now who did they suffer? Tomorrow they will give the same logic to our people for Ghost Town and many other things and ask them to surrender. Of course, this one he is particularly targeting CDC because that is Cameroon's priority, as you have heard from Dion Ngute, asking our people to go back to work for Cameroon government. Work for Cameroon government? Anybody who wants to separate? It's like a woman telling you she wants divorce and she come and she's asking you, please, I need transportation. Of course, anybody who is telling you to go and work for CDC, to work for the same Cameroon government, is not somebody who is campaigning for separation and independence. But let's listen.
From there they will chop. They will take some money, they go go chop. Then they will still get salary from government because they work. Wait for our own work now as Ambazonian separatists or Ambazonian.
So it actually talks about me take salary. That means for you to take a salary, that means you maintain a monthly wages. you did normalize the working of Ambazonians to CDC, would not suffer. So listen.
Now, as Ambazonian separatists or Ambazonian restorationists, now for make sure say the strategy now for
now Eric Tataw don't come out for tell una the clear truth. When I remember, we be fight this war for separatists. Eric Tataw came in and introduced SAKO. They tried to redefine and change the narrative. Smartly, they brought in the word restoration, that we are now restorationists. At the time, we were saying that it is wrong to use the word restoration because restorations means going back to some state that used to exist. And there have been no time in Ambazonian history where we were independent, where our independence have been actualized, where we possess our sovereignty. No time in our history. So restoration would either mean that we go back to West Cameroon or we go back to the British Southern Cameroon under trusteeship, which is impossible. So restoration is something that accommodates federalists. Now they don't want to, he's not talking about Ambazonia anymore, he's not talking about Southern Cameroons. Those are words you can know that these are not people who are standing for freedom, because real Ambazonians, freedom fighters, are calling it Ambazonia, not Southern Cameroon. Southern Cameroon are corny name, corny word, now code word for people they want come pretended and they for middle, then drag you go down for La Republic. That Cameroonese inside. So Eric Tataw then come out for tell now the difference between federalists, restorationists, and separatists. Initially, he be denied. They talk say separatists and restorationists are the same thing. Now one and the same thing. And some of our people gullibly, by the use of this man, adopted the restorationist, which is fake. It's an undercover for federalists. Listen.
Now for make sure say the strategy now for block now which we are Ambazonian separatists or Ambazonian restorationists.
So there is a difference between restorationists and Ambazonian separatists. Separatists are people who want separation. Restorationists are people who include those who want federation and some form of union with Cameroon. And now you can hear him using the two words differently. Separatists and federalists. You see, slip of a tongue and the truth is out. So those who have been fooled to call themselves restorationists, restoration forces, you are not working for independence. Your agenda that you are working for, even if you don't know, you may be fighting for freedom. But those who are doing the diplomacy for you, those who are talking at the back scenes, are all pushing for an agenda of one Cameroon. So you guys should listen.
For make sure say the strategy now for block now which we are long harvest and me that we probably not come out and outside of Ambazonia. See this in our land. So now.
So with an excuse, normally somebody cannot just lie to you without making an excuse. To an excuse to hide what he's trying to do. He says that he's saying that we should work for CDC as a strategy. At the end of the day, we will go and block those food from not going abroad for export. How would you justify working for a company and that company having salary to be paying you and somehow you will not allow the foods to go out of the country? It's just baloney, an excuse. He says that that is his strategy. And listen to how he will try to cover over his...
Now, the people will pay what part them, what part will get chop with the chop, or what put in the chop, and then we now as the fighters them.
In this same logic, he will ask us to go to Parliament for La Republique, to go and work for La Republique, to have La Republique du Cameroon do their normal work and let us receive salary, because that is the problem now.
Stand for that play, that angle, you understand? We feel like important to infiltrate inside man of your strategy for TV or for Facebook. So when I talk one come out, if not banana, if not anything, we block her.
Perfect.
We destroy her. Me no come go yaunde. Me dwell no export them. But guess what? They pay what pardon. What pardon is take a small banana them. For Chico they go chop. Then now all man be okay. So now we focus solely on government. No go farm again. Listen, what I say work.
So focus on government. How? How? You liar. You liar. Straight-faced liar. Man, no come there, Mogo, you look like a rat. Your friend Mark Barata rightfully said that your totem is a rat. Because you are a rat. A thief. A common thief that feeds on the blood of innocent Ambazonians that have been slaughtered.
And me, I say, me no man no go farm again. Go attack pardon for farm. See this work at the day for go.
So he talk say, when he talk say me people then go for, he talk say me people then go for work. He mean that say me people then no go attack people they work for farm. What a lie, what a joke. So when you say that they should receive salary, what is that for? What is that for? You want to cover up your crimes that you committed, that you don't want people to attack people in the farm, but actually you're asking people to work in the farm. We are not that stupid.
For work. Then we're going to block the chopping in command. That is all. That's the winning strategy.
You're right.
Government will pay Papa them. They will take chop, go has go chop, but the chop will come out of Ambazonia. We'll seize them or we'll destroy them. Yeah. That's the strategy. Why won't stop them? They don't go work again.
So you can hear somebody calling Cameroon occupation government says it all. I cannot go further to explain. You want to know what this man have done? With that his mouth, that red mouth like that is full of blood of our people. At a time when we had successfully made our people to support this struggle on a voluntary basis, all of us as one man, standing to fight against Cameroon. This guy came in and changed it to be something that La Republique wanted. A problem that is now Ambazonian fighters against their people. I want you to take a look at, watch this video, footages of what Eric Tataw he did. So listen, watch this video. It is an excerpt gotten from a clip made by, first of all, I want you to know why he's asking us to go back to work. Because during the same year, the same period, when Cameroon started working, they made a proposition and bribed Chris Anu and SAKO. Eric Tataw was catching in big. So this is Eric Tataw selling palm oil product.
So we're going to show you all the things you have to.
So this is the poor rat who have been begging people for money back in Cameroon. The Cameroon government, like you saw the same deal that was proposed to SAKO, they created farms for them, give them farm. Now they have made him an exporter of CDC product. This is video footages of last year. So he have been corrupted, he have been settled, and now sells the product and have become a stakeholder to the resources of Ambazonia that have been exploited by Cameroon. Now Cameroon gives some of those products for him to sell in the market in America and make money out of it. No doubt he will come out and say that let CDC work, let the parents go back to work, because he sucks the blood that have flowed from that CDC. I want you to remember who this man is, lest you forget. Remember Eric Tataw and what he did to our people. I want to show you some of these video footages to know who we are talking about.
Claudine Akono is recovering in hospital. Her leg was chopped off by Anglophone separatists, she says. The men came to her home at night, accusing her of defying their ban on education. The petty trader was dragged out naked, and what followed was terror.
I look at that drip. It's a serious collapse.
The men started by gradually chopping off my ankle. One of them was flogging my back with a machete.
This now the result of Eric Tataw actions on Ambazonia, and this was broadcast by DW. Imagine the international community watching this video. What would they think about the Ambazonian fighters whom they have come to admire as people who have picked up then gun to fight against Cameroon military? Eric Tataw came in and changed that narrative completely into a narrative where our own soldiers are then butchering our own people, thereby defeating Ambazonian sympathy to the international community. Who on his normal sense will ask anybody to go and be chopping off the hands of people not for working as spies with La Republique? These were not blacklegs. This woman was a trader, small trader, just trying to manage her life. They came in and chopped off her leg in the name of Eric Tataw trying to help Cameroon to get a deal to sell palm oil and make money and show flashy. He also wants to become like one of us, those who have money in the diaspora. Let you watch this video and I will take you.
And the other person completely chopped off my leg. I saw my leg separated in two.
The rebellion by Anglophone militias is taking its toll on the population.
You hear the narrative now. The rebellion of Anglophone militias. It's not about the population now. Thanks to Eric Tataw, it is about militias turning towards against the population. The population are now victim of Ambazonia as a result of Eric Tataw changing what was a suitable narrative that favors Ambazonia into something that will make any normal person to not be sympathetic with Ambazonia. Listen.
Thousands of its workers have fled due to increased attacks. Many have been mutilated and others killed.
They want Kiwi, but they know Kiwi. They want to give message.
The separatists said they would have loved to kill us. They were fighting for us, but we were working in a government plantation, which funds the government.
So it's very important that you know who this man Eric Tataw is and what he has done for this struggle. Remember, I want to play you his video when he go out there and ask people for students who refuse school boycott.
For one thing that for picking the hand they won't go to school for any part of Southern Cameroon, because when we take this school issue to the Republic, so for Southern Cameroon not be having job. So if you listen to me, send them down for any mommy say if I see any people from school, if I see any people from school, you know I very possessive. So I take the responsibility, man, every type of coding anywhere. I will teach the Peking how they teach Gary. I will teach you, I will give Gary lesson. Nonsense. When I think of the for joke, when they kill people that can't talk about school, no school, no, that is it. Listen, not Mr. Man, LeBron, Steve, not tell me no. Any Peking go with the Gary, the Peking. In fact, I don't move from one finger to the entire hand. If any Peking go there, Gary one hand. Gary one hand. Nonsense. When I think of the general joke, one thing I know correct. In fact, LeBron, Steve, I don't beg, I don't change my mind. Now one hand now. Any Peking go there for school, give Gary for his whole hand. The whole hand. Put Gary there. So that we go have mommy asking away to mommy.
So this is Eric Tataw talking about people chopping off the hands of students who go to school for going to school. These are not people who work with the enemy. These are not blacklegs. And at the time, I was there hitting my table, saying, no, you cannot do this to your own people. There are many ways we can do this thing. Because we were doing it already. We were succeeding when he was still in Ground Zero working with La Republique. We even convinced some students who were in their schools to take actions to stop those schools. There were many ways we did, but nobody would touch your own students. This rat came out and asked our own people to start chopping off the hands of our own. And you think that he did not know that it was a bad thing to do. He knows exactly what he was doing. He knows exactly what he was doing. There was even one time he came out and he refused. Let me play that video. He refused that. He never said that. Oh, I'm sorry. The video have not been transferred. But let me play this one.
The instruction of Gary comes from one person. It comes from one person. On ground, I have one of the highest number of forces that are defending homeland. But I will not talk. That's why when I say something today, it will happen tomorrow. I said something big was going to happen in the school in Ambazonia, and it happened.
So this is Eric Tataw taking responsibility alone for the dismemberment of Ambazonians. If he was working for Ambazonia, like me, like Tapang and many other Ambazonians, the Cameroon government have more than enough evidence to put him behind jail or to get him sent back for crimes against humanity. Because there is evidence, according to report by, I think it's DW and the post on the ground. For us, our figure was about 200 and something. They put it to over 360 people who were dismembered in CDC, chopped off hand. But the Cameroon government sued Tapang Ivor in the courts in America. In the age of two, we even donated money to help Tapang Ivor. They came with the satellite law firm here in Hong Kong. They sue me in Hong Kong here. There are ongoing things that we don't even want to say on social media because we don't want the enemy to glut. But we are ready for the responsibility for what we do because we do the right thing for our country, and we don't care about the consequences because we know we are doing the right thing with the right motivation. Why did the Cameroon government not go after Eric Tataw? Because he's working for them, of course. He has helped them. He has given them the single biggest victory to torpedo the roadmap for Ambazonian freedom by trying to discredit the leadership of the governing council and those who work for them. He even called Lucas Asu that he's working for La Republique. Me and Lucas Asu, for all people who have actually provided evidence when Cameroon have tried to bribe us. And you can see from our activity that we are genuine Ambazonian fighters. Yeah, you can make accusation for everybody, but not everybody can you have substantiation of people where their actions, their activity actually ties to what you are alleging, like Eric Tataw. They have used counter-attacks, counter-accusation to cover up their crime. But this is working for La Republique. And our people should know that we told you that he's working for La Republique. You did not believe. Now that he has come and clearly advised you to go back to La Republique, there should be no doubt in your mind. Can you imagine the people who were asking me to go and cooperate with him? Can you imagine those who were telling us to ignore all these signs and go and work hand in hand with him? We cannot ignore signs and things that comes up. Even if there are 1,000 infiltrators, we will still tell you people. We will never get tired. We will never surrender because the governing council believes in the rule of vanguard. We are the vanguards of the people's aspiration, and we will not fail you.
Concrete information that La Republique was passing through the Swiss government. So essentially, those groups in Switzerland and Belgium were being paid by La Republique and pretend as if they are neutral mediators.
This has become a joke for some people. I'm going to a show.
So these are evidence that we had presented to Ambazonians. A tapped information given by Chris Anu to one of their Zoom meetings, stating that they know that the Swiss process was being used by Cameroon and that money that was being spent there was being given to the Swiss HD by the Cameroon state. That was Chris Anu. Time and time again, we have presented you substantiation that the Swiss deal was not a negotiation deal. Even John Bakoro, who was a participant, came back and told you people that from the presentations that they were giving them there, it was a way to tell Ambazonia to surrender and not lose face. The Gojidinka faction had gone there, the same thing. Even the IG of SAKO withdrew from it. With all this evidence that amounts to conclusive evidence that we presented again to you people, Ambazonians, you all ignored it. Not all, let me not say you all ignored it. The vast majority of our people ignored it. The same as today we have heard that Paul Biya himself called the Swiss authorities to tell them that he's not interested. The timing should be very important to you. Why does Cameroon want to close all these things? It's because they are working on a timeline, and Dion Ngute have said it. Why will Chris Anu come and expose himself and doing all these ridiculous things now? Because they are all working on a timeline. The same with Eric Tataw. They are all working on a timeline to assist Cameroon. And December is coming, so all of them have to hurriedly put what they have to put out there. So it should not be something that is strange to our people. Every time we come and tell you these things, we give you evidence, you think that it is accusation and counter accusations. Eventually, it turns out to be exactly what we say it is. Why? Because we do due diligence. We don't just accuse people because we disagree with them or we don't like them. No. We don't judge people based on like or not like. We judge people based on factual and active intelligence that we gather and what the people are actually doing on the field. So when we tell you that Eric Tataw is working for Cameroon, I think now you see it. When we had told you that SAKO Ikome and Chris Anu and their cabal who were telling ADF soldiers to leave SAKO, they were working for La Republique and were trying to set up for CDC to go on. Some of you doubted it. What happened? Chris Anu have come around to testify. We are telling you people again that Cameroon wants to close shop irrespective of the victory we have on the ground. And one of the components that the Cameroon government is using, as the presentation today is showing you the bigger picture, is to use the issue of school. It was very critical, if you notice the analysis of Dion Ngute, for Cameroon to prove to the world that schools are going on under Cameroon control in areas where Cameroon is controlling. And they cited examples like city centers and all those things, which is of course a lie. The Cameroon government knew that on this school resumption date for Ambazonia, we will be able to prove to the world that majority of the schools that are going on in Ambazonia, urban areas that Cameroon claims to be controlling, are actually Ambazonian community schools. And a journalist that said these facts on Cameroon TV was arrested. What is to show you that they will go to that extent to arrest somebody for making a statement that confirms what we have been saying? Is to show you that Cameroon is afraid of that. So the Ambazonian forces that are doing the lockdown are misled by Cameroon minders, by the so-called community leaders that Dion Ngute have clearly stated are their partners in this struggle to manage our forces, the people who are in contact with the forces. They continue to misrepresent themselves. So be wise and know the big picture. The big picture is clear for everybody to see. The defeated Cameroon is trying to work on a superficial deadline that have been put in place by Emmanuel Macron to make sure that they can deceive the war that they have won, even when they have lost the war.